Habits are a fundamental part of our daily lives, shaping everything from our routines to our relationships. But have you ever wondered how habits work or how they can be changed? In The Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg provides a comprehensive exploration of the science of habits and how they impact our lives, whether as individuals, organizations, or societies. Through compelling case studies and practical advice, Duhigg shows how habits can be harnessed to achieve success and transform our lives. This book is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 explains the habit loop and how it forms the basis of all habits, good or bad. Part 2 examines the habits of successful organizations and the power of Keystone habits to drive long-term success. Part 3 explores the social and cultural aspects of habits, examining their role in social movements and raising philosophical questions about free will and responsibility. Whether you're looking to improve your personal habits, transform your organization, or contribute to social change, The Power of Habit provides a roadmap for understanding the science of habits and using them to achieve your goals. Part 1. The Habits of Individuals. In this part, the author provides a comprehensive introduction to the science of habits and how they work. Duhigg explains the habit loop, which consists of a cue, a routine, and a reward, and shows how this loop forms the basis of all habits, whether good or bad. This part provides a solid foundation for understanding habits and lays the groundwork for the later sections on organizational and societal habits. By understanding the mechanics of habits, the author suggests, we can gain greater control over our behavior and shape our lives for the better. Lesson 1. The Habit Loop. How habits work. In this lesson, we'll explore the concept of the habit loop and how it shapes our behaviors. According to Duhigg, every habit consists of 3 parts: a cue, a routine, and a reward. Think of it like a loop that keeps going around and around in our brains. The cue is the trigger that starts the loop. It signals our brain to start the habit. This could be anything from a particular time of day to a specific place or even an emotion. Next, we have the routine, the actual behavior or action we do in response to the cue. For example, if you always eat a cookie at 3 p.m., the routine is eating the cookie. Finally, we have the reward, the positive outcome or feeling we get from completing the habit. In the case of the cookie, the reward might be the taste or a temporary boost in energy. Duhigg emphasizes that habits are formed through repetition and reinforcement. As we repeat the same routine in response to the same cue, our brains begin to associate the two, creating a strong neural pathway that makes the habit automatic and hard to break. Lesson 2. The Craving Brain. How to create new habits. In this lesson, we'll discuss cravings and how they can be used to create new habits. Duhigg explains that every habit is driven by a craving for a reward. When we experience a cue, such as feeling stressed or bored, our brain triggers a craving for a certain reward, like relaxation, excitement, or stimulation. This craving can be so strong that it becomes hard to resist, leading us to engage in the habit that satisfies the craving. To create a new habit, we need to identify the craving we want to satisfy and find a healthy way to fulfill it. For example, if you want to start a habit of reading to satisfy cravings for relaxation or learning, you can set cues such as placing a book on your bedside table or scheduling a specific time for reading. Once you establish these cues, it becomes easier to follow the routine of reading and satisfy your craving for the reward. Lesson 3. The Golden Rule of Habit Change. Why transformation occurs. In this lesson, we'll discuss the Golden Rule of Habit Change, which is based on the idea that we can't erase old habits, but we can create new ones that override them. The habit loop becomes automatic and ingrained in our brains through repetition. To change a habit, we need to interrupt this loop by identifying the cue and the reward, then experimenting with different routines until we find the one that gives us the same reward without the negative consequences of the old habit. For example, Sarah had a habit of snacking on unhealthy foods during work breaks. She identified her cue as feeling bored or restless and experimented with new routines like taking a walk or doing a mindfulness exercise. Finally, she found that listening to her favorite music or a podcast satisfied her craving for stimulation and relaxation. By following the golden rule of habit change, Sarah created a new habit that replaced her old one. Part 2. The habits of successful organizations. In this part, we'll explore how habits shape the trajectory of companies and reveal the secrets behind organizational success. You'll learn about the power of organizational routines and individual habits within companies and how they drive performance, productivity, and collaboration. Through inspiring stories and real-world examples, you'll understand how to establish and change habits within your own organization. Get ready to unlock the keys to creating a thriving and successful work environment. Lesson 4. Keystone Habits. Which habits matter most? Lesson 4 is focused on the concept of keystone habits, which are habits that can have a domino effect on other areas of our lives. These habits are called keystone because they are like the keystone in an arch, the central stone that supports all the others. The author argues that by identifying and focusing on keystone habits, we can create positive change in our lives more easily and quickly. The book provides several examples of keystone habits that have had a significant impact on individuals and organizations. One example is exercise, which can act as a keystone habit for many people. When people start exercising regularly, they often start to eat healthier, sleep better, and become more productive in other areas of their lives. This is because exercise creates a chain reaction of positive changes in your body, mind, and into other areas of your life. Another example of a keystone habit is making your bed every morning. This simple act can lead to a sense of accomplishment and orderliness that sets the tone for the rest of the day. People who make their beds every morning may find that they are more productive and organized throughout the day. Similarly, organizations can have keystone habits that lead to success. Take the story of Alcoa, a struggling aluminum company in the 1980s. When Paul O'Neill became the new CEO, he implemented a keystone habit of focusing on worker safety above all else. By prioritizing worker safety and creating a culture of transparency and communication around safety issues, O'Neill was able to transform the company into a highly profitable and successful organization. In essence, identifying and cultivating keystone habits can be a powerful way to create positive change in your personal life or in your organization. By focusing on one key habit, you may find that other good habits naturally fall into place, leading to greater success and fulfillment. Lesson 5. Starbucks and the Habit of Success. When willpower becomes automatic. In this lesson, we're going to dive into how Starbucks helps its employees build strong willpower habits that lead to success. This is a great example of how understanding and leveraging habits can make a big difference, both personally and within an organization. Willpower is super important for success, but did you know you can actually turn willpower into a habit? Charles Duhigg explains how Starbucks has mastered this technique. Here's how they do it. Starbucks invests heavily in training their employees to handle stress and tricky situations effectively. They use a method called LATTE, which stands for listen, acknowledge, take action, thank the customer, and explain why the problem happened. This method provides employees with a clear, structured approach to dealing with difficult situations. During training, employees practice handling tough scenarios until their responses become automatic. When a stressful moment hits, they don't have to think too hard, they just follow their training and habits. This makes their reactions more habitual and less reliant on conscious effort. Think of willpower like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Starbucks helps their employees build this muscle by embedding willpower into their daily routines. By turning willpower into a habit, employees can stay calm and provide excellent service even during busy times. This not only makes customers happy, but also helps employees feel more successful and confident. Let's bring this to life with a story. Imagine a barista named Sarah. When she first started at Starbucks, she was really nervous about dealing with angry customers. But after going through the training, she learned to stay calm and follow the latte method. One day, a customer was really upset about their order. Instead of panicking, Sarah listened, acknowledged the issue, took action to fix it, thanked the customer, and explained what went wrong. The customer left happy, and Sarah felt great about handling the situation smoothly. That's the power of habit at work. What can we learn from Starbucks and Sarah? Willpower isn't just something you're born with. It's a skill you can build. By creating simple routines and practicing them, we can all get better at handling stress and achieving our goals. By turning willpower into a habit, Starbucks has created an environment where employees thrive and customers are satisfied. This is a perfect example of how understanding and leveraging habits can lead to success both personally and within an organization. Lesson 6: The Power of a Crisis: How Leaders Create Habits Through Accident and Design. In this lesson, we're exploring how leaders can use crises to create and reinforce new habits within organizations. Crises often create urgency and focus that can break through inertia and resistance to change. Charles Duhigg explained how successful organizational changes often happen during times of crisis. For example, in 1987, a fire at the King's Cross station in the London Underground revealed significant flaws in the system. The tragedy created a powerful motivation to change. Leadership used this crisis to overhaul safety procedures, introducing new training programs, improving communication systems, and establishing rigorous safety standards. These changes became new habits that not only improved safety, but also enhanced efficiency. A crisis highlights weakness and creates a sense of urgency, making change possible. Leaders can harness this urgency to implement new routines and habits. Paul O'Neill at Alcoa used a crisis of low profits and poor worker safety to focus on safety, transforming the company's culture and performance. Crises disrupt the status quo and force organizations to reevaluate their habits. Effective leaders seize these moments to push through changes. But it's not just about reacting to crises. It's also about designing changes thoughtfully to ensure they stick. If there isn't a crisis, smart leaders create a sense of urgency through strategic initiatives or by highlighting existing problems needing immediate attention. This proactive approach can simulate the conditions of a crisis, mobilizing the organization to adopt new habits. Remember our discussion on Keystone habits? A crisis can provide the perfect opportunity to introduce a keystone habit that leads to broader change. Once these new routines are practiced and reinforced, they become automatic. In summary, crises can be powerful tools for change. They create an environment where new habits can be adopted more readily, turning challenges into opportunities for lasting improvement. Lesson 7: How Target knows what you want before you do, when companies predict and manipulate habits. In this lesson, we'll explore how companies like Target predict and manipulate customer habits. Charles Duhigg reveals how businesses use data to understand and influence consumer behavior and buying habits. Target collects vast amounts of data on customers' shopping habits, predicting what products they are likely to buy next. For example, they identified pregnant customers based on changes in purchasing patterns and sent targeted ads and coupons. This predictive power raises ethical concerns. Manipulating habits can feel invasive, and customers might react negatively if they feel their privacy is compromised. Target made their marketing more subtle, mixing in unrelated ads to avoid making customers uncomfortable. While predicting and influencing habits can be powerful for businesses, it must be done thoughtfully and ethically to maintain customer trust. Part 3: The Habits of Societies. In this part, the author delves into the social and cultural aspects of habits. Duhigg examines how habits can shape the behavior of entire societies and contribute to the emergence of movements and social changes. Through case studies of historical events such as the Montgomery bus boycott and the growth of Saddleback Church, the author illustrates the role of habits in the success of these movements. Moreover, the author raises philosophical and neurological questions about free will and the responsibility we have over our habits. The author discusses the latest research on the brain and its relationship with habits, exploring the extent to which our choices are predetermined by our neural pathways. Ultimately, the author argues that understanding the role of habits in societies and our own lives is crucial for personal and social transformation. Lesson 8: Saddleback Church and the Montgomery bus boycott: How movements happen. The Montgomery bus boycott was a civil rights movement that took place in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955. The movement was sparked by the arrest of Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat on a bus to a white person. The boycott lasted for over a year and involved a coordinated effort among the black community to refuse to ride the buses. The movement was successful in forcing the city to change its segregation policies and became a symbol of the civil rights movement. In this lesson, the author introduces us to the three-part process that creates a world-changing movement. The movement starts with a strong-tie social network. This refers to a group of close-knit people who know each other well and share similar beliefs and values. These relationships are crucial in creating a sense of community and shared identity that can motivate people to take action. Before Rosa Parks' arrest, there were others who got arrested for breaking segregation laws. What made Rosa Parks' arrest different was that she was well connected in the community. She had strong relationships in her church, organization, and neighborhood. Her arrest triggered a social habit, the habit of friendship. That is what made people rally to her side and sparked the movement. The movement gains momentum through the creation of weak tie connections. As the movement grows, it needs to reach out beyond its core group and connect with a wider range of people. Weak tie connections refer to people who may not be your closest friends or family members, but still play an important role in your social network. These connections are less strong and less frequent than your closest connections, but can be valuable due to their diversity, exposing you to new ideas, resources, and networks. In addition to this, strong tie connections also have their own strong tie connections, which can be influenced to become part of our network and be a crucial part of the movement. By cultivating weak tie connections and leveraging the strong tie connections of our network, we can expand our social circle, gain access to new opportunities, and build momentum for our cause. The movement becomes self-sustaining when it develops a new social norm. When enough people are involved in a movement, it can start to change the way society views a particular issue or behavior. This can create a new social norm, a widely accepted way of thinking or acting that supports the movement's goals. Once a new social norm is established, the movement becomes self-sustaining and can continue to grow and evolve over time. Overall, Rosa Parks' story illustrates how the three-part process for creating world-changing movements can be applied in practice. By building a strong tie social network, developing weak tie connections, and creating a new social norm, Parks was able to mobilize people around a common purpose and achieve lasting change. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that anyone can make a difference in the world as long as they are willing to work hard, persevere in the face of challenges, and stay committed to their goals. Lesson 9. The Neurology of Free Will. Are we responsible for our habits? In this final lesson, we explore the complex relationship between habits and free will. Our brains are incredibly complex and intricate, and much of our behavior is driven by subconscious processes that we are not even aware of. This raises the question of whether we have true free will or whether our actions are predetermined by our neural wiring and past experiences. Studies have shown that certain brain regions, such as the basal ganglia, play a key role in habit formation and execution. These regions become activated when we engage in habitual behaviors, indicating that our brains have effectively programmed these habits into our neural circuitry. This can lead to a sense of powerlessness as we feel that our habits are beyond our control. However, it's important to remember that our brains are also incredibly adaptable, and we can change our habits through conscious effort and intentional practice. While we may not have complete free will over our habits, we do have the power to shape and mold our neural circuitry through intentional action. By cultivating positive habits and breaking free from negative ones, we can take control of our behavior and lead more fulfilling lives. So while the question of free will remains complex and multifaceted, we do have agency over our habits and the power to shape our own destinies. Habits are the invisible architecture of our daily lives, shaping our behaviors and decisions in ways we often don't realize. Charles Duhigg's The Power of Habit offers a comprehensive guide to understanding and changing these habits, whether at the individual, organizational, or societal level. By recognizing the habit loop, harnessing the power of Keystone habits, and understanding the role of willpower in crises, we can transform our lives and the world around us. As we move forward, let us use this knowledge to build better habits, drive positive change, and achieve our goals. If you have any questions or comments about this book or habit formation in general, please leave them in the comments below. We love hearing from our viewers and engaging in discussion about these important topics. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel for more book summary videos like this. Thank you for watching. See you soon.